Gary, on an official basis, welcome to the football club. It's of course your first on-camera interview. How have your first 4 or 5 days been?
No, thank you. It's been really enjoyable. So I spent 4 or 5 days here now. It's been great to meet everybody. Everybody's been incredibly welcoming at the training ground, at the stadium, and some of the players I've spoke to. And it's been a really enjoyable few days.
The first day, Monday night, you saw the under-23s in action. That's obviously an area that you'll be very interested in.
Yeah, for sure. It was great time. That was my first day, and the 23s played on Monday evening. And I was talking to Lee ONeil at the start of the other day. My perception of being a visitor at Ipswich for probably 8, 9, 10 years of coming here with Bristol City is really positive. I think Ipswich have always had good players. They've always had a real good bunch of people whenever I've been here as a visitor. And I think that showed on Monday. Again, I don't know the players at all yet, but just from sitting in the stand watching the game, you know, there's some really good players here, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them better and hopefully playing a role along with the other staff in trying to help them.
And then Tuesday night at Wycombe, watching from the director's box, hopefully you're a lucky charm.
Well, hopefully. I'm happy to be that if that's the case. No, again, another a brilliant result, a good win, obviously a tough fixture. I'm still getting to grips with the people here, the players here, and obviously the league and things like that. But it was it was a good first few days, Monday and Tuesday. 2 good performances and 2 good results.
It's a new role for the club this season, Gary. So can you tell the supporters a little bit about what you'll be doing, who you'll be working closely with?
Yeah, I think the main couple of things. One is working really closely with Lee ONeil and the staff he's got in the academy to look at the transition of players from the academy, hopefully to the senior team, and as many as we can to the senior team. I think having worked in that space at Bristol, and I think Lee and his staff have done a great job here. And like I said earlier, there's always been really good players here. I think that transition is tough, and as much as things are progressing here with the ownership, with the takeover, with the plans here, we need to make sure there is a pathway for local and homegrown players here. So that's one thing. And I think the second thing is trying to link that with recruitment, particularly what happens at first team level with recruitment, and making sure those pathways are here, but making sure that the overall recruitment plan fits what is needed for the club for today, but also for longer term, and try and make sure it all fits together.
About a week in the life of Gary Probert, what does that look like? What's your day to day, and then perhaps on a match day as well?
It's a good question, and it's one that I'm going to try and find out over the next few weeks. I think a lot of it in this first stage is going to be, as I said, like getting to know people. So trying to watch games, speak to people, get a feel for what goes on here, because as I've said a few times, there's loads of good stuff here that I've seen already, and that my perception before I came in was the case. So I want to get to know people, get to know how things work, and then look to see where I can hopefully help and add some value, and the bits that need a little bit of work or a little bit of time or a little bit more support to try and find what they are, prioritise them, and then try and take some of them forwards.
We've said in interviews before, when we've spoken to players, they all seem so invested in the project here, but that seems to go for off the field staff as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been blown away at the enthusiasm of the people since I've been in. You know, everybody talks about the opportunity that's in front of us all here, to be a small part in a really big project. Just walking around the town over the last few days, you see how many people wear Ipswich Town shirts, or in this weather, hats and scarves and gloves. You know, it seems like a really huge football club with huge potential to keep progressing it, and I think that's what's really exciting about being here.
It's a big change in your life, of course, as well, moving from near the Bristol area. How have you found adapting to life in Ipswich?
Yeah, again, it's very early days. Like I've said a few times, I think the people have been so helpful, you know, helpful around places to stay, how to get from A to B. I can't thank the people enough for how welcome they've made me feel in this first week. And it makes me really look forward to it.
Yeah. So the short term, Gary, this season, what will your projects be, and then maybe longer term as well? What will you kind of sit down and look at the club?
I think this first period, I think a lot of it's going to be looking ahead to the January window, in terms of looking at the recruitment infrastructure here. You know, where are things currently? What do we need to do to support that process moving forwards, and making sure that Paul and his staff and everybody at the club has what they need to be prepared and to deliver in January. that links to the work that Lee and his staff are doing in the academy around some of those, particularly the 23s and possibly some of the 18s. You know, what's the plan for those young players ahead of the turn of the year? Is it a loan? Is it moving training groups? Is it looking at work experience options, etc., etc.? So I think in the short term, that will be the sort of big priorities. And then I think longer term, as I said a little bit ago, trying to look at the whole infrastructure for what happens here, and looking at hopefully where we can take it forwards a little bit.
Welcome, Gary, and thank you.